Good morning, everyone. It's Leanne again. I have 2 more eggs today, and one of them kind of goes with where I'm at. I am kind of in a quiet, peaceful place outside, and that's going to go with what's in one of those eggs. But before we find out what's in our 2 new eggs, let's see if you can remember what was in the first 2 eggs on Tuesday. So, does anybody remember what was in that first egg?
Donkey.
It was a donkey, right? So we have a donkey was in the first egg, and what was in the second egg? Money. So the donkey reminds us of how Jesus rode into town on a donkey, and the money reminds us about how Judas took money to betray Jesus. He took money to tell people where Jesus was, right? So let's find out what's in the next egg. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Let's see what's inside. We have a cup. You can tell that it's a cup, but it is a little teacup from a little tiny tea set. Okay, but it wasn't tea that this cup reminds us of. I'm going to read from Matthew 26:17. On the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the followers came to Jesus. They said, "We will prepare everything for you to eat in the Passover feast. Where do you want to have the feast?" Some of you who have been at the Wednesday night kids have recently learned a whole lot about the Passover. So if you're watching this and you can remember what you know about the Passover, then go ahead and tell your parents or your siblings, whoever's around you, what you know about the Passover. Jesus answered, "Go into the city. Go to a man I know. Tell him the teacher says the chosen time is near. I will have the Passover feast with my followers at your house." The followers did what Jesus told them to do, and they prepared the Passover feast. In the evening, Jesus was sitting at the table with his followers. They were all eating. Then Jesus said, "I tell you the truth. One of the 12 will turn against me." We learned a little bit about that on Sunday with our science experiment. This made the followers very sad. Each one said to Jesus, "Surely, Lord, I am not the one who will turn against you, am I?" Then Jesus answered, "The man who has dipped his hand with me into the bowl is the one who will turn against me. The Son of Man will die. The scripture says this will happen. But how terrible will it be for the person who gives the Son of Man to be killed? It will be better for him than to have never been born." Then Judas said to Jesus, "Jesus, surely I am not the one." And Jesus said, "Yes, it is you." So we learned about that yesterday, or Tuesday. The Lord's Supper. While they were eating, Jesus took some bread. He thanked God for it and broke it. Then he gave it to his followers and said, "Take this bread and eat it. This bread is my body." Then Jesus took a cup and he thanked God for it, and he gave it to the followers. He said, "Every one of you drink this. This represents my blood, which begins the new agreement that God makes with his people. This is poured out for many to forgive their sins. I tell you this, I will not drink this fruit of the vine again until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." So the cup is to remind us of the Lord's Supper, the Passover, when Jesus said, "From now on, when you drink this cup, you're going to remember me and that I died for you." All right, let's see what's in the next one. It doesn't make a lot of noise. Let's open it up inside. And inside there are some praying hands. So there's hands and they're kind of putting together in prayer. I also have a little tiny flower, which kind of goes along with it also. So now I'm going to read from Mark Mark chapter 14, verse 32. Jesus and his followers went to the place called Gethsemane. He said to his followers, "Sit here while I pray." Jesus told Peter, James, and John to come with him. Then Peter began to be very sad and troubled. He said to them, "I am full of sorrow. My heart is breaking with sadness. Stay here and watch." Jesus walked a little further away from them. Then he fell on the ground and prayed. He prayed that, if possible, he would not have this time of suffering. He prayed, "Abba, Father, you can do all things. Let me not have this cup of suffering, but do what you want, not what I want." So, this egg reminds us about when Jesus went into a garden, the Garden of Gethsemane, a peaceful place, and he was praying to God about what was about to happen with the Easter story. So it's good for us to remember today that if we feel concern or happiness, sometimes it's good to go to a peaceful spot and pray to God. Have a great day.